is 12th November 2024 from the Institute of St. Paul for Ministry Studies. We are honored to welcome our beloved Father, His Eminence Metropolitan Serapion, Metropolitan of Los Angeles, Southern California, and Hawaii. We are really honored to have you in this place, Sayyidina. The first question is, how about your childhood? All our dear fathers of this generation, they had a real Christian childhood and a strong family. So would you please tell us about your family?
First, thank you, Father, for inviting me for this program, and I'm honored to be with you. I was born in Asyut in 1951, so I'm turned 73. But I lived most of my time in Aswan until I went to the university, medical school in Asyut. And then I returned to Aswan and worked there until I went to the monastery of Amba Bishoy in 1979. In my childhood, I was blessed by my family. That was very peaceful and stable family, which helped us to grow in very peaceful atmosphere. And also the Sunday school, when we learned a lot from the Sunday school in Aswan, especially that is they directed us for a father of confession. So I'm grateful for the discipleship through the father of confession, starting from the first father of confession, which I started to confess with late Father Armia Zaki in Aswan. And then when I went to the monastery, Amba Sarabamun, until he passed away, and then Amba Hidra, and then now is Amba Isisorus of Deir el-Baramos. So this kind of discipleship is very important, whatever the age you are in and whatever the position the person to be. And also, that is, they let us to be ordained as at that time ornostos when we are young, which make attachment to the church and service in the liturgy, and in they have the servant preparation in the first year of the high school, which helped us to serve before leaving Aswan. Because Aswan at that time, there was no university in Aswan, so you have to leave Aswan to go. So I went to Asyut, because this is according to the geographical distribution, those from Upper Egypt to go to the University of Asyut. And it helped when I went to Asyut to start the service there as a continuation was I doing. And also I lived in my grandfather, maternal grandfather house, so continue living with the family, which helped us also during the time of being a student in the university.
Sayyidina, how did your medical study influence your quality of leadership as a bishop?
The medical study helped me in way of thinking. That is, as you know, that is the doctor, when you receive the patient, first to listen to the patient. So take history and listen to the history of his sickness and then the symptoms. And then you go to science and then investigation and then reach a diagnosis and then start the treatment. And this way of thinking, it helped me in my responsibility. Whatever, any person speaking to me about a problem, while the person is speaking, I'm trying to diagnose. Listen to the person and then ask a question, and first to reach diagnosis before starting to give any suggest solution. So that's why when you're thinking any problems happening, I differentiate between the sign and symptoms and the diagnosis, because in medical field you can give symptomatic treatment just to treat the symptoms. The same also, some challenge you give symptomatic treatment. But I feel the symptomatic treatments may help, but not the solution. And without a right diagnosis, because the right diagnosis is the way to the success of the treatment. If you diagnose wrongly, whatever you give. So I focus more on the diagnosis of the situation which I am facing before thinking of any treatment.
Sayyidina, knowing that your eminence started serving in the year of like 15 or 16 years old, as far as I know, when you were in the high school, do you recommend that nowadays we push our high schoolers to start service? Because in our churches we used, to give servant preparation in the university time. So usually they started any kind of service when they are 19 or 20 years old.
Definitely, I recommend to do the servant preparation in the high school, and that's what I'm asking our churches to do, because this is an important time in their life. And because again, even in California and Los Angeles, many of the students, they study outside, especially when they go to graduate school. So if they leave without starting the service, most likely they will not to serve there. Maybe they attend the church. So that's why I feel also this age is not young. I remember when I was in the second year in this high school, and I give a sermon in general meetings, not just on the Sunday school.
That's nice.
So it is not it's not young. It's a good age to encourage him to service and be involvement in the service. And it make a change, because the service, you take more than you give, and give a kind of commitment to the church. Especially now there are many kinds of service. Maybe at that time we have the Sunday school, that's the main service, but now we have many kind of missionaries, service needy people, and there are varieties of service which you can fit everyone. But it's important in this age to be prepared and to be linked to a certain kind of service.
Sayyidina, how did you receive the call of living a monastic life?
At the end of my junior high, which we call it here in Egypt, preparatory school, I was given as a gift as a book of the story of the Copts, which is written by Iris Habib al-Masri, and I read the story of St. Athanasius and was so impressed, because at that time the hero for me is an intellectual person. Like in this age you have kind of hero. So for me that is because of my love of reading, so a hero for me. So I find St. Athanasius as this great mind, as a hero, but I was impressed that this great mind was proud to pour water in the hands of St. Anthony, which gave me an idea about the importance of the monastic life. But of course, there was no monastery, just to draw attention. But it's grow during the high school, especially when I started to visit monasteries. When I went to Asyut, I went to Mahara, and then when Amba Hedra, of blessed memory, became the Bishop of Aswan in 1975. So it was the first time for me to speak with a monk, and to know more about the monastic life. And he guided me to know Amba Sarabamon, blessed memory. And from I used to go during the Holy Week to spend in a monastery, and I was planning to go to the monastery after I finished my medical school. But it happened that we finished the written, and we have the pediatrics, and we finished the written and then have the oral exam. But my father passed away suddenly.
Okay.
In between.
And your father were a doctor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a medical doctor, was working, and until the last day of his life, which make a big change in our family, because so Firstly, I have to decide what to do. Because it was a Wednesday morning when we have a phone call from Aswan telling me my father passed away suddenly. So my turn to go to, as you know, the oral exam, we don't go all at the same time, by sections. So I was supposed to go to on Thursday. But they will bring the body from Aswan because the family, our original place to be buried with the family of my father is in Marara in Sohag. So I have to decide what to do. Either I go to do exam now or I postpone it to Friday. So I decided to go.
Wow.
So I went to the university and then it was very quiet and I told them what happened. And they accepted to examine me, and which taught me how to control my emotion when it comes to a difficult situation. And from this time, I learned it. I had no time to even cry for my father's death because after working so hard, I was a good student, getting very good. So I would lose one subject. It taught me, and there is a situation, there is no time for emotion. You have to control your emotion. So I stayed for 3 years until the situation of the family, because I have to move from Aswan to Asyut, and my second, we are 7, and number 3, until my younger brother graduated from the university, and the situation get better, and so I went. But it was for me a good experience because I worked. I know how to be poor because after the death of my father, there's no income, and it takes time until you get all the inheritance and all these things. And I learned how to live within a limited resources. And in front of people, you are a doctor. طبعا أنا doctor gonna be doing 20 Egyptian pounds. And we have apartment, we have his office, clinic, I have a car, and all this expenses. But this has helped me to live, because we never experienced this in my life. What helped me after that, when I became a bishop of Ecumenical and Social Services, to understand, whatever you hear about poverty, but you don't know what is the meaning of to be poor. That is when you are poor. When you save money, sometimes to save money, I walk to the hospitals and I go by car, even for simple things. It was a good experience during this time, which helped me later on in my life, in how to face difficult situations, how I take a decision without to be emotional, how to understand the suffering of the poor people. God plans things.
Sayyidina, I know that you were one of the very close disciples to His Holiness late Pope Shenouda. How did it start?
It started, I entered the monastery in 1979, and in 1980, that has happened. That is, it was a difficult time after, because the tension started with President Sadat after the Church decided not to celebrate officially the Feast of the Holy Resurrection, and Sadat gave a very bad speech about the Pope without mentioning his name. And then he ordained many bishops. So he was staying in the monastery. And one of the bishops in Upper Egypt, he came on Saturday to take the blessing of His Holiness before going to be enthroned in his diocese. So when His Holiness greet him as he leaving, he stumbled, and the dog, he had to avoid it, so he fall. So he's called me to go to see, because
As a doctor of the monastery.
Yes, that's right. So when I examined his leg, the ankle, so I suspected maybe a fracture or fissure or whatever. Yeah. So asked to have an X-ray, so from X-ray in the monastery. So he went to the Angle hospital, and they found, yes, there was a fracture. They put it, and he returned. And after that, started the relationship to go and to take care of His Holiness, especially after the decision of the Sadat that is the Pope to stay in the monastery. So I was the only source of medical help in every kind, as a doctor, as a nurse, as a dentist, and everything, which built a kind of relationship with His Holiness, especially in this difficult time. And later on, when I was ordained a bishop for ecumenical and social services, he allowed me to live in the same residence. So used to meet him, and I never met him in his office. we either when we taking dinner or lunch or just walking. And then the other blessing that is in his travel outside Egypt.
Yeah.
So he took me like a secretary in the trip. I never be a secretary in Egypt, but only in his trips, which gave me chance to know him more and more closely during this time.
So, Sayyidina, you started your monastic life in 79, and then you became a priest. You got ordained after how many years?
Yes, I was ordained in 1981.
Okay.
Because I was chosen to go to Switzerland. So I was ordained a priest in the 18th of July, which is the feast of the monasticism of His Holiness Pope Shenouda. So he ordained me on this day. But because of what happened after that in September 81 and the decision of the Sadat that it's His Holiness to stay in the monastery, I didn't go. So I went to Switzerland in December 1983. That's why I served there until June 85. That was ordained the bishop, because His Holiness returned in January 85, and the first group of bishops to be ordained, I was one of them.
Okay. Your service in Switzerland, how much it influenced your leadership in Los Angeles later?
The first thing is how to start a small new church, because at that time there was no permanent priest there, just from time to time. So I started the service here in Switzerland, and so it gave me love of the smaller churches and the beginning, how you can start gradually, to be patient, to understand the situation, and change will come by time. Accept the situation which existing, and I am grateful for His Holiness Pope Shenouda, and how he allowed me and encouraged me, and then when I go there, I both look to the future, not to the past, and not to be concerned about anything. And I remember, of course, traveling outside. It was the first time in my life to travel outside Egypt. And I don't know what will happen there. And unfortunately, we have bad stereotype about people outside Egypt. They don't respect priests, they focus on money and all this bad, and two things. Even it's happened with some people. When I was concerned, so I told him, but Your Holiness, you are in the monastery, and there's no way to communicate with you, because still under this restriction of any movement or any communication. And I don't know, I want to know in the language. Suppose people, they say, don't know, there is no money, what to do? But he gave me $1,000. And then go take money. If you feel anything that you cannot continue, come back. So I will never do this, but at least get a support from me. That's teach me when someone starts new things, to give support, to support for them. And I still remember this $1,000. The same also when I went to Los Angeles, and he gave me $20,000 to help me. Even he said he's going to America, and this is, you're supposed to bring money, not to give money. But the fatherhood.
Yeah.
And when I ordain a priest, I make advance of money until they go to the payroll, because what will happen during this time after ordination.
Yes.
So we learn from His Holiness how to take care even of this small things. Also in Switzerland, I learned, I exposed to the new culture, the Swiss culture.
Yeah.
I lived in a Catholic monastery, so I lived with them. It happened that this Pope John Paul II visited, so it was, we are, he has a meeting with non-Swiss churches, so he told us to make a hymn and then meet the Pope to greet him. So this is just the second year there, almost the first year, because I went in December. This has happened in the middle of the year in '84. This is exposure to the outside culture. Also, it gave me, here in Egypt, because Catholic missionaries and Protestant missionaries came and convert Copts. So we have also feeling that these people want to steal people from us. So we have a defense mechanism against them. When I went there, I have a different experience.
Yeah.
That they welcome us, they help us to establish the church. And I lived in a Catholic monastery. We have no churches.
Yeah.
So we pray in Protestant or Catholic churches. The one who helped us to get a building in Geneva was a Protestant leader. So he was negotiating with the government of Geneva to give us the building, the first church. We have it there. So I have a different perspective of the relationship with the churches. That's why I make a different experience.
Yeah.
Which helped it to be open. And I lived in the Catholic monastery. Of course, I didn't take communion. I continue my service. Nobody forced me to do anything or asked me to do anything differently. But it opened up my mind to another perspective and to know about these people, to enjoy their love. And that I continue to visit until now. I like to go and stay a few days in INZ. Because it was not just I stayed time and that's it. But this kind of relationship helped me when I go to switch to after that I became the bishop for ecumenical relations. So
yes.
The relationship, and then I went to Los Angeles. We always keep good relationship about with other churches and be concerned when the Catholic Church attacked there because of the secular society. We feel sympathetic with them. Yes, we have difference between each others, but at the same time, we can cooperate with them. Yeah. The same also, when I was in the Bishop of Ecumenical Social Services, most of the project which we did, it's supported by ecumenical partners belonging to Catholic and Protestant.
Yes.
So they are helping us, not without any pressure for anything regarding changing our faith or taking our people.
Sayyidina, knowing that you had been in the service of Squfiyat al-Khadamat, social activities for like 10 years, later on being the Metropolitan of a very big diocese in America, Los Angeles and Southern California. Is there any relation in the plan of God between this service and that service?
Yes, because my service in the Bishop of Ecumenical Social Services number one, it led me to know the bottom of the church. Because we always visit the poor area. When I visit the diocese, I don't go because I invited to speak for the meeting. Yes, they invite me for that, but I'm going there
to the villages.
To go to the villages.
Yeah.
And I never come to some market church.
Yeah.
I go to Azbet al-Waqt. Yani, this is the areas which, because you don't need the bishop.
Yes. Yeah.
فأنا يعني even يعني Cairo, I am a stranger for Cairo. I never lived in Cairo, so I don't know Cairo. But when I came as a bishop of community social services, all my relationship is for the slum areas, عزبة النخل, المقطم, يعني all this area. It led me and working from Alexandria to Aswan. So I know the church, what is the suffering of the people.
Yeah.
And also we learn from the ecumenical partner how to write project proposal, how to have objectives, how to have a budget, how to empower local people.
Yes.
Lead them to decide for themselves, caring for the woman.
Yeah.
And also I was blessed by the servant in the bishopric. Because I always say the treasure of the bishopric is the servant, not the money. Because they bring. And because يعني, I faced when there, يعني, usually senior staff or people who are retired, big position, they can, Amba Samuel usually bring people who, but many of these people, they left with a new bishop. So I find myself with the resignment of the senior staff.
Okay.
So I decided to go to the youth. And I was helped by His Grace Bishop Musa. God give him good health. Because youth, they don't used to come to the bishop. They feel this is the people of all the people and the money. They go to Bishop of Youth. Amba Musa encouraged them. This new bishop go and help me. And this has helped me to have a new generation. And I went to them to study outside because we have scholarships, in Canada, in America, in England. And they came because I said, this is the future. But I face a challenge because these people who get degree and training, we have a competition with other organizations.
Yeah.
And they can offer them better salary.
Yes.
So I cannot compete with them on that. But I felt if these people feel this is your church, you are at home. But how to feel at home if there is mysteries? Because you know the things of money usually to be hidden and know the budget, not to meet with partners, but only group of people. But I said, no, there is no mysteries. Everything is clear.
Okay.
And you can ask about anything. And any decision we take, you have the right to ask why you take this decision. And so, and anybody want to leave can leave, no problem. I want people to stay here because they believe in the mission of the bishopric. That's what I've like Gideon when they decrease the number until the 300 who are committed. And I need people committed. Continue, felt there is a church. And also I start to care for them. And مثلا, and I find besides the senior staff, when I left, it was 1,000 staff.
Wow.
Paid from the bishop when I left. But the majority are in working in slum and rural areas, which also they are from the families which.
Yeah.
So I have a fund. Most of them are girls.
Yeah.
I make a special fund for the marriage of the servant. Yani anyone get engaged, she has the right to come and get support for her marriage. So she felt that we care for her.
Very good. Yeah.
Yani even مثلا this San Verena group who go to slum areas, I make a special allowance for shoes because they walk.
Yeah, hours for hours.
They walk, go to bed. So they have compensated for the shoes مثلا إن هي مثلا we make also how to bring them from. So we have many cars, so have to bring them from their homes. We have an agreement with Anglo Hospital, like insurance, medical insurance. Yeah. For all this, it helped them. That is, you serve, but we care for you, we care your life. Our relationship with you is not just you get a salary and that's it, but we care for you because you serve the church, which helped me when I go to Los Angeles. And number one, I feel the need. So when I went there, and I told His Holiness Pope Shenouda, I will leave the bishopric, but I will not leave the love of the needy and the poor. So when I went there, so I told people, we should not wait until a bishop coming to tell about the needs there, or priest coming because there is a project. We have to go. And we have to do it in organized way. So I started the program, Santa Verena, one for families, one for development projects. Yani I take the experience here and I apply it there, but in a different aspect. Now, برضو مثلا بنعمل development project. The diocese offer to us. We have 2 meetings here مثلا to approve projects, the same things. And we go to the diocese, tell them, do you want us to help you? And if they agree, so we'll be happy to help them. I benefited from the experience of the bishopric and loving the poor and feeling their needs, and also how to do it in organized way. And also I came with a belief in the youth and women in particularly. I have no experience because I grew up in family. We are 6 boys, 1 girl, and then طبعا Aswan, and then the Asyut, and then the monastery. When I came to the bishop, I find myself in organizations, the majority are girls. But the experience which I have is the importance of the role of the woman. And I say, the advance of any society, it depends how the society respects the woman and understand their capability and the potentiality to serve the society. But this has helped me when I go there.
Sayyidina, moving to Los Angeles in 1995, right?
Yes.
I know that Your Eminence faced many problems at that time to establish a new diocese, a new bishopric. So could you please give us some hints about what kind of problems were there?
When I went to Los Angeles, Los Angeles has good churches, good priests, and good service. But the problem is how to work together. And because there is a lot of challenges, so there are different opinions. So, and how to let these ideas to come together. I decided there is a platform of the clergy meeting when we can discuss everything, and whatever we agreed on to be applied, but not to force any priest to do something which he does not believe on. At the same time, I felt the importance again of the youth, so I focus with the youth more because always use it's not the first priority, especially if you have a church and we need people to support. So many of the families in Los Angeles, I knew them through their kids, not the opposite.
Yeah.
This is generation which I spent time with them. From them now we have priests, bishop.
Yeah.
Also, I went to the places where there is no churches or there is established churches. So instead of focusing on what existing, what does exist, it's good. Let us go and expand this. At the same time, I start to think more about the future and how we can move in the future of the diocese, being a diocese together. Also because myself and Amba Yusuf, we went at the same time and spawned at the same year. So it was only 2 dioceses in America. So it was good to cooperate with each other. And we built a good relationship between the 2 dioceses, which help us to share with someone who, now I'm very happy with the priests because I have a very good group of the priests, happy with the servant. We have still many things to do, but we thank God, things are moving.
Sayyidina, speaking of today, the dream of unity of all Christians, many people are speaking about that dream. Someone see it like it's an easy task to do because we love everyone. Others focus much on having the very early traditional Orthodox faith as a condition. So we need your opinion on this dream of unity.
We define the word unity, which is to be in full communion. There is difference between to be in good relationship with each other or to work together certain things between if you mean the Christian unity, which because the Christian unity is the unity of the Christian, because the Church of Christ is one. Unfortunately, there are theological differences which are important differences. We have to solve these differences through the theological dialogue to be able to be in full communion. And to do this, we have to first to build a good relationship with each other. And the word love, sometimes it used mean love between both aside the differences. Or not love mean attacking each other. But the real love is not to attack, but to face the situation in honest way. And so we have to do this. Unfortunately, the differences are increasing, not decreasing. Because the trends which happen, unfortunately, in some churches who add to the differences. And there are many examples. The Anglican, when they accepted the homosexual and the there's another thing that's added. And the Catholic after Vatican II, we have the salvation of non-believer. It did not exist in the Catholic before that. Now, we don't know what is the direction which you go after this statement from Pope Francis. So unfortunately, after all these efforts, there is nothing solved, but added, which leads some people to say, okay, put it aside. But this will not achieve unity in the right meaning of the unity. But if we build a good relationship with each other without compromising our faith, because faith cannot compromise. We can understand each other, we can reach to a solution, but not to compromise. It does not mean you live apart and I live apart. It does not work. It does not work this way. It is not a deal or not making a deal. There is a truth we have to witness to it. But to reach it, we have to build a good relationship. Good relationship with each other. Without love based on transparency, based on frankness. Like we started when I have the Orthodox theological dialogue, he said that the only solution is the Christology.
Yeah.
And we had two agreements. But nothing happened.
Yes.
Why? Because we focus only in the theological part. We finish it with two agreements.
Yes.
But there is also a heritage of hatred, of attacking, and so on. So we start a new idea with the Russian Orthodox Church, which part of the Eastern.
Yes.
Why we form a committee for a relationship. And now we have about 10 years.
Yes.
Exchange of visits, exchange of student. This is after 10 years, it's created a kind of mutual love, mutual understanding. And because when people come and see, oh, they're not heretics, these people witness in this society. When we go there, these people who carried the cross for many years and suffer from that.
Yeah.
In the middle of this, there is a theological consultation. When we discuss the two agreements. Our church accepted the two agreements. The Russian, they didn't. They have some observation. And here comes the idea. When this was presented in the 90s, the council was about to reject the two agreements.
Yeah.
Then Patriarch Kirill at that time was a Metropolitan Kirill. He came with a suggestion to his council. The council there means all the bishops in the Russian.
Okay.
The synod is the Metropolitan only. I told them, instead of rejecting the two agreements, why we don't start dialogue with one of the Oriental Orthodox to know each other? From here came this idea, which helped. Now, today, we will start the theological dialogue meeting, followed by the meeting of the bilateral commission for the dialogue, for the cooperation. If we succeeded to respond, because I asked the Russian to give us a paper, what are your observations about the two agreements? Instead of just having individual ideas, we need official paper. They did it. And we discussed it. Hopefully, if we can overcome, then we make an achievement with the Russian. But the problem now is the Russian are not in communion with Constantinople.
Yes, I know.
Now the three families. So if we succeeded with the Russian, then we come to the rest of the Oriental.
Yes.
If they agree to go step forward with the Russian, maybe we can have some achievement on that.
Yeah. The line of evangelism. Some people are not happy watching some of the churches and the resources of the church going to some countries in which there are no Copts and just for evangelism. How do you see it?
Like the Lord when said we have to do this and not to leave that.
Yeah.
Why we put either or?
Yes.
We can do both.
Yes.
And both enrich each other. And for example, when you send a missionary, people in a missionary trips, some youth or some people, if they come to youth meetings, they will not come. At all, we have a trip to Kenya. Oh, get excited and go. This kind of trips, it helps these people.
Yes.
It comes with impact. If I follow that after they return, I build on this excitement, I can win. It is a kind of service for them.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is actually the missionary work of evangelism is helping enriching the pastoral care. But we cannot send people without the pastoral care. So both of them can be together. Especially in the church by its existence, it's a missionary church. There is no missionary and non-missionary church. Any church should be a missionary. We are called to be ambassadors, to witness to the whole world. So therefore, this is part of our history.
Yes.
Our church extended, went to Ethiopia, went to Nubia, went to Ireland, went to Switzerland, the Siebel Legend, and so on. So our church, yes, and sometimes because of the pressure on us, But the spirit of the church is a spirit of sharing the gospel with others. And that's why this kind of missionary work, and for example, and if take my diocese, Los Angeles, we build now a partnership with some of the dioceses. It's not just because we want to support, because we want to benefit.
Yeah.
Because I told them, we serve here. We have to be open to the other culture. When you go to Africa, when you go to Asia, when you go to Latin America, it will help you to see differently. So when you come back, you look outside your church, outside community. So we want to change the meaning of community. Because the meaning of community now is the members of the church. No. If I have my church in Santa Monica, so my community is all the people in Santa Monica.
Yes, exactly.
Not all the members. But how can you open this without going there? You come back and see, okay,
now I
you
know.
visit Bolivia or Brazil, then you have a Bolivian here. You have Hispanic here.
Yes.
You have African here. So it help our service. That's why the same also when we come to Egypt, when missionary trips come to Egypt, it have great impact on them. And it helped them.
Yeah.
So we feel that, of course, we are not coming in as missionaries, but even the link with the church here, it enriched the service there. So I feel that is very important because it will help the church. But it need to focus more in some areas because you cannot cover the whole world.
Yeah.
But by the time we can focus in certain areas which help us, مثلا certain African countries, certain Asia. طبعا Africa, it should be our part because this is a sea of San Mark, Africa. إنما مثلا Asia, we cannot cover all Asia. Some countries, مثلا in Latin America. And I feel this is for the benefit of the church.
Yes.
And it gives addition, and because of our missionaries in Latin America. Now we're starting a Hispanic service in the Diocese of Los Angeles.
Great.
Because they are translated the things there. We want to go there, but we have a lot of Hispanic, either members of the church or they need.
Yeah.
Now we have some priests, they learn and start to be good and pray in Spanish.
Yeah. Sayyidina, having a great theological seminary, Acts, how do you see the theological institutes in the Coptic Church? Because sometimes we feel like there is no unified vision or strategic plan for the educational centers everywhere.
هو related to America, because America is a very intellectual society and there is many of ideas. We have to respond to it in deep theological way. We have a good theological teaching, but not with academic depths.
Yes, yes.
Because there is a spread of many theological seminaries, but to have academic level. When Christianity started to spread, it was a very simple faith.
Yeah.
But when the philosophers started to join, they started the theology, how to explain. So they have the Greek culture. So it was the church and started in the theology of Palestine was all the Greek part, the Greek world. But then they face what to do with the Greek culture, is to accept it, to reject it. And then it started, that is how the theology started. They can take the techniques, tools of the of the Greek culture to explain the faith. It leads مثلا the terminology, because words like hypostasis, ousia, have a problem to define it when it's used for the Christianity. But this is the way how the theology developed. Now, we parallel to it, now we have the academic world who teach to have critical thinking.
Yeah.
Do we reject this world?
We can never.
We cannot.
Yeah.
So we have to go in it. That's why when we, مثلا when I went to Los Angeles, there was a theological seminar. It was established in 1989
Okay.
by His Holiness Pope Shenouda. But I started the process to be accredited.
Yes.
Why to be accredited? Not so people get a certificate, but to improve the teaching
Yes.
on it. And like when I came to Bishop of Social Services, social service existing in Egypt.
Yeah.
But our interaction with partners, it helped us to develop how to write project proposal, how to put objective,
Yeah.
how to put a budget. All these things, which is I learned it because we interact with them, which lead to have the development activities, which more than just helping the poor, needy. I apply the same idea there in the accreditation. We worked for over 20 years until we reach the accreditation.
Thank God.
Accreditation, lastly, now, but it need to prepare someone to lead, Bishop Carlos, and some the faculty, and so on. It was a process.
Yes.
It is, it's not an easy, expensive, but I felt it is important for how to have the faith, but also express in the academic terminology and the academic principles. It will help us not just to be react, proact. Because my experience in the ecumenical movement, usually the Orthodox react, not proact. People prepare paper, we react to the paper. But what we prepare from ourselves. So we have to move from just we reacting at what is happening to be proactive facing the situation. So I felt this is a very important part because our church is built on the parish church, the monastery, and the theological school. This is 3 pillars. That's why Pope Shenouda take it for.
Yes.
He established theological schools, he established monasteries and for parish, but not yet accredited. We just added to what he started there, and I feel that is generally in the church. We face a challenge of private theological schools. We have 2 now systems, which I learned of it in 2015. And as we face in the monastic life, monastery is under the church, monastery is private. We are going to the same things. And نحن عندنا schools belong to the church, and we have a private institutions. So that is a problem on that, like problem in the monastic life. People confused between the two. But what about the teaching? So I hope, in physiological teaching, there is no public sector, private sector. It should be a church sector.
Yes.
It's nothing to be like this. So hopefully, this is to be solved in the church in general, and bring everyone under the umbrella
supervision of the Holy
church.
Son. Sayyidina, some people believe that nowadays there is a real problem in the Holy Synod. They believe that some people, some leaders of the church are against His Holiness, and there is no harmony among the members of the Holy Synod. So what would you say?
I don't feel this is at the level of the Holy Synod exists, and there is no harmony. Or in some bishops, and against His Holiness in this sense, which people can feel once they follow the social media. But we don't feel it in the meeting of the Holy Synod.
Thank God.
And there are different opinions because there is a change happening in the church. The church is extended
Yes.
all over the world. The society is changing. There are many challenges existing. Unfortunately, there is no mechanism of a real discussion. This is the reality. Maybe when this does not exist, it happened that is people, members of the Holy Synod, go and express their opinion outside because there is no inside a mechanism of a real discussion. Because we meet once, we have the subcommittees. The subcommittee meet for 1.5 years, 1.5 hours, and there are many issues.
Yeah.
Usually, most of the issues which are discussed are not the major issues. So we need a change of the way of the Holy Synod is functioning. Because before 1985, there was not the idea of regular meeting of the Holy Synod. And before 85, the Holy Synod used to meet when there is a need.
Yeah.
Then we started the idea of regular meetings. And then started with subcommittees. And now, because of this is something new, and we didn't sit to discuss how to function well. Also, we have that the tradition of what is written in the bylaws is not necessarily what we are practicing.
Yeah.
If there is a gap, there is a bylaws for the Holy Synod.
Yeah.
But in reality, you find what is practicing is different than in many aspects from the bylaws, because because something accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do things, but what is written is written. We can bring it when there is a problem to help it without changing this. I can give examples with it. For example, there are members of the Holy Synods. Now, when you attend the Holy Synod, you find bishops, metropolitan, priests, sometimes even lay people. But if we want to participation of a priest in whatever capacity, why we don't change the bylaws for that?
Yeah.
There is a supportive staff. لجنة فنية. There's something new.
Yeah.
But ended by, this is what they are doing their work. Because those who write the things.
Yes, yes.
Before that, we don't have this. Why we have a secretariat?
Okay.
We have to do this. We have 4 people in the secretariat. We need firstly to also whether the subcommittees discuss the issue and bring it to the synod or the opposite. The synods to send to the subcommittees. These subcommittees are subcommittees of the Holy Synod. The Holy Synod refer to them what they to study, not they bring to the synod what they want the synod to study. So it ended by, suppose مثلا I'm not member of مثلا the ritual committee, لجنة الطقوس, and they discuss something, they want to change مثلا to delete something in the مثلا زكسولوجية أو مثلا لما جت الايديا بتاعت اللي هو celebration of the feast of the Annunciation happened in the last Friday of the fast. They bring this recommendation. I see it in the meeting. I have no chance to discuss it.
Okay.
لكن if we want to follow the bylaws, we define what are the issues, and then if the issue is ritual, the Holy Synod refer it to the ritual subcommittee.
Yeah.
So we have to sit firstly as a synod to say, what are the challenges which are facing the church now?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 20.
Okay.
What is the priority?
Yeah.
10. Okay. Now we will focus our work on this 10. And then this issue, I need more study from this subcommittee for pastoral care. And this committee working on this issue, and if they come with a recommendation to be sent before the meeting to all the members,
so they
and
can
then
study.
they study it. I have the chance. I have assistant to help me the study, because a bishop represents does not mean he do everything.
Yeah,
he can have a team working with him.
Yes, exactly.
And then we have a discussion, and then we decide. It's not necessary to have a list of decision and recommendation. Just 2 or 3.
Okay.
But now, مثلا, ask. We can have books of decision, but who even read this? يعني لما احنا عملنا many bylaws everything. مثلا للpriest, للbishop. Nobody followed that. And I asked how many of the members of the Holy Synod read them, not follow them. Only it comes when there is something to happen. So I don't think that is the problem is in the bishops. The problem of the situation which we are having and how we can face it and a way which can we benefit from each others. And you cannot do everything. يعني مثلا the committee for land of immigration, لجنة المهجر, man was one of the decision or recommendation to make a office for the visitors, trips. Does things like this need Holy Synod? Of course not.
Yes.
يعني مكتب office عشان the visitor. طب دي مش it doesn't need anything. فمثلا تلاقي مثلا the pastoral care عندهم sub committees للprisoner, sub committee كذا كذا. You don't need it. The Holy Synod is just to give the major things. This is the work of the Bishop of Social Affairs. This is the work of that's why in the bylaws of the Holy Synod, you're like, the Holy Synod is the highest authority for the faith, for the dogma, the highest authority for the right, the highest authority for legislation, but not the highest authority for pastoral care. The pastoral care is the responsibility of the bishop of the diocese. The Holy Synod is not like a board of a company. إنما إحنا we are come together. Our major thing is to keep the faith. To keep the faith. So we, all of us who are coming together, keep the faith. But we face different things which are different from place to place. You cannot, يعني how to have a bylaws for the priest and define the salary to be given to the priest. How? يعني how a priest in California, priest in Heliopolis, priest in a village, and define a salary. This is a big difference between the life here, the life there. يعني إنما you can set مثلا guidelines. How it is, who لأن في diocese مثلا they give يعني something small كده and they leave to take. في مثلا بيعملوا salary. في يعني there are different practices. What is the responsibility of the church for the priest in his life and after his life? For example, we have to.
Guideline.
What is the privacy of the priest versus his bishop? يعني can the bishop tell the priest don't buy Mercedes car مثلا? Don't get inheritance of مثلا apartment مثلا if your wife مثلا get in, يعني if suppose مثلا a priest in مثلا place like Minya or whatever يعني, and his wife مثلا get inheritance in Alexandria. Can we have this or not? Does the bishop have the right to tell him or not the right? Where is the privacy? يعني فهنا this is some principles which based on the practice which we have. We need to set these guidelines more than to go to in the details which is related to the priests or the bishops, or, for example, in America, when we have the bylaws for the churches, for the board of the church, there is no election. It is a recommendation. Bishop participate. When they did it for here, for Egypt, they said election. How you apply election for the board? The churches. There are some villages. Here they use the board. They wait until the person to pass away. They add. And who applies these elections? You can't apply it. You can't apply it. It's something not practical to be done. لكن ممكن نقول في مثلا role of the people to have a say. Say مثلا in choosing, because they responsible for financial things, so they have people have a say about it. That's why when we formed the bylaws in North America, we follow what happened for the deacons. You choose and we appoint.
Sayyidina, we enjoyed the discussion with Your Eminence, and we need always your prayers. May God give you more power and health and all blessings. Thank you for your time, and thank you for coming to our place. And please pray for us.
Thank you very much, Awana.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, service with you. Thank you.